Your eyes met on a cool autumn evening. It was warm inside the coffee shop, almost like the owner forgot to turn on the AC. You were studying for your midterm the next week, but was surprised when you heard someone order your favorite drink. As you looked up to see who had such fine taste in coffee, that was when your eyes met. It wasn't love at first sight. No, that was fiction. After all, this was real. They looked familiar, but you couldn't quite put your finger on it. Someone from a movie? A moment later, you both glanced away, one of you embarrassed. By some miracle, you eventually found the courage to approach them. You talk, they were studying communications at your university, and you're above you. Awkward and with butterflies in your chest, you asked the only question you could think of. So what's your zodiac sign? And a week later, you go on your first date. Being broke in college, it wasn't anything fancy. A night walk in the park with a dazzling view of the city. The moon was bright that night. You laughed together, you teased each other, and your shoulders sometimes touched while walking. You pretended to be interested in what they were saying, but truthfully, you were distracted by the tension that night. And as cliche as it sounds, the shade of their eyes under the moonlight slowly became your new favorite color. How could this memory ever fade? After that night, your relationship became official. Sure, you haven't even gone past first base yet, but something about them reminded you of the bullshit Disney stories and the romance novels you read as a kid. Throughout the following months, the dates that you go on, and the memories you make together, you start noticing tiny imperfections and you accept them. No one is perfect. Who cares that they sometimes interrupted you in conversation? You were still madly in love, and your love was something more. No one had been in love like you were. No, this was different. This was special. This wouldn't fade. Every time you met, you felt excited. The butterflies were always a blizzard of foreign emotions you've never felt before. One day, you take them on a dinner date. You had to burn about a week's worth of your part-time job salary to afford it. But it had been worth it, because after a nice meal and a glass of wine, they took you back to their apartment. You had promised each other forever then. How could that promise ever fade? Months passed. You've been adventurous together, to the point that it was no longer about lust. Instead, it was comforting. Though, at a certain point, you start noticing. At first, it was the small things. They would get home late, or you would catch them glance at other people the way they had with you, for a moment too long. But unlike the time with you, no one had approached them, probably because you were there. You start thinking about the times they go out alone. What was that you felt? Resentment? No. Probably just jealousy. The novelty of your relationship begins to fade. You aren't as young as you used to be. There are more challenges that you must face together. Rent isn't cheap and school became more and more demanding. You stop exercising and you start living the same routine over and over and over. As the days go by, you start seeing them less and less every weekend, and you become more and more indulged in your own work. One day, one of you suggests taking a trip somewhere as a celebration of both of your hard work. Of course, that wasn't the real reason. Still, the next weekend, you flew to beautiful California. You noticed a feeling you haven't felt in a long time. What was it? Excitement? Nervousness? It was something about the trip, the sunshine, the beach, or the chaos of the city life that reminded you of that night at the park. So tonight, nostalgic, you plan on asking them to go for a walk on the beach, for old time's sake. The moon was bright that night. The sound of your beating heart overwhelmed that of the roaring waves. You let them walk ahead as you watched their hair blow in the wind, and that's when you realized what you felt. It was the butterflies. And in that very moment, all the imperfections you noticed were drowned out by all the good things about them that you loved. The fact that their favorite drink was a matcha latte, the promises that you both made years ago, the fact that they were Aquarius, or that they believed in zodiac signs at all. Any doubts you may have had was washed away like tears in the rain. You had been sure of that back then, in that moment, that the both of you would never fade. But that was before you met them. A cool spring evening. It was cold inside the cafe, almost like the owner forgot to turn off the AC. So what's your zodiac sign?